I've been improving my communication skills for over 3 years now, and by the end of this video, you will learn maybe the most important skill you must have if you want to have actual success in this area. And what is that skill? It is the skill of social intelligence. Now, social intelligence is basically having like the social calibrations where you're able to kind of pick up on small cues that another person who you're talking to kind of gives out and be able to kind of guess and predict what the other person is thinking and just kind of read the room basically. This is something that can come in extremely handy if you're, for example, trying to be a salesman. You're trying to sell something to someone, and you can kind of just by using social intelligence say if you're kind of getting them, if they're receptive, if you're going to be able to sell the thing to them, or if you should just change your strategy or try something different. It's also useful when you're talking to girls or where you're even trying to tell if someone's like lying. Like by having higher social intelligence, you can kind of just tell when someone is lying, when their behavior is off. So having high social intelligence is extremely useful in real life. The person with high social intelligence is like a chess grandmaster. You can imagine playing chess. They play chess and they know the game and they know their opponent. They're kind of like predicting the moves and they're playing really well and everything. While the person with zero social IQ is like a toddler who doesn't even know how the pieces move. He just kind of moves them around, and sometimes he gets lucky, but usually he just messes up and he doesn't get anything right. Now, if you want to learn more about this topic and more about the topic of communication skills in general, I have everything, every piece of knowledge that I've learned over the last 3 years, I have put in the course that you can find by clicking on the first link in the description. Now, how do you obtain social intelligence? If you've ever played any competitive video game, what have you noticed after a while? You may have played it, and when you started, you were kind of shitty at it, right? You were constantly getting killed by your opponents. You didn't really know the map, you didn't really know how the weapons worked. But after a while, as you kept playing it more and more, you kind of started getting this almost like sixth sense where you could predict what the opponent would do. You kind of knew how the gun or the weapon would act. You kind of knew how to navigate around the map, even though you may have never even read a book about it or watched a tutorial or anything. Just by playing it, you kind of got this like feeling of how things just work, and you became better at playing the game through just playing it more. It's the same situation when it comes to social intelligence. It's a skill that gets built up just like any other skill. What would you say to the guy who, let's say, wanted to become better at basketball? You could tell him, oh yeah, go watch tutorials and read books and whatnot, okay, but at the end of the day, what is the thing that's gonna give him the most progress? Go to the court, get to the court, shoot, dribble, train your cardio, whatever, just be in the court and train. It's the same here. If you want to improve your social intelligence, you just need to go and speak to more people. It's as simple as that. Your brain is like complex and intelligent enough to the point where just by going and talking to more people, you will just start to kind of pick up on these little signs, little body language like movements and indicators and stuff that people just give out when you're talking to them, and eventually your brain will pick up enough of them to where you'll begin to build up this social intelligence and this kind of social calibration. The key here is just to talk to as many different people about as many different topics as you can. Because if you talk to the same people, like your friend group, about the same topics, you're not really gonna learn much. You're gonna learn you're gonna gain social intelligence when it comes to talking about a specific topic to a specific person, okay, but the essence, the thing that gives you the most progress is when you go out, you cold approach some person who you've never seen in your life, and you'll start some random conversation with them, and you just see where it takes you. And that's when you get these interactions, when these kind of interactions that you never had with anyone else. Those are the exact interactions where you learn the most, where you get the kind of you see some movements and you see some signs that you've never seen before, and that's when you expand again your social intelligence, and you're able to use that intelligence in other conversations when it will come in way more handy, when it can come in super handy. And some of the best parts about having high social intelligence is that it highly reduces any awkward situation that you might have. And one of the best benefits of having this high social intelligence is that it basically removes most of the awkward conversations and awkward situations you could have. Like if right now you haven't really spoken to that many people, you're not very, socially calibrated, you don't have very high social IQ, a lot of the times you're gonna be saying random shit, you're gonna be kind of not really reading the room, and you're gonna be getting yourself into a lot of awkward situations. This will in turn also get you to become a lot more stressed out when talking to strangers, and it will become a lot more of a kind of difficult and bumpy experience. Well, after enough practice and you get high enough social IQ, you can kind of just turn off your logical part, or like your, logistics part of your brain, where you're like logically thinking what to say, and just kind of let your like social part of your brain just dictate what you say. And when you do it like that, you barely get any awkward situations, awkward silences, and talking to people becomes way more fun, way less stressful, and just a way more enjoyable experience. Talking to girls, also getting girls, becomes 10 times easier. In general, life just becomes better. Now, if you really want to skyrocket your improvement, the speed of your improvement in this area, you can check out the course by clicking on the first link in the description, where I teach you absolutely everything I know about this in this really nicely formatted way that's super easy to grasp, and it'll make your whole journey just 10 times quicker and easier. If you found this video helpful, I think you'll find a lot of value in this video right here. Click on the subscribe button and do the work.